Hi, welcome. I am so sorry that I am a few minutes late. I know it's a little bit after 2, but I had some technical difficulties and some new equipment. And so I am Gina Badality of Embracing Imperfect. And thank you for joining me on my live today. So we're going to talk about, I've started these little themes on both on social media and on Facebook. And so the theme of the last couple of weeks has been embracing peace. So we're going to talk about embracing your passions. So living out your passions without hurting others. And the reason I wanted to get around to this topic is, so a couple of weeks ago, a pastor at my church spoke very passionately about how someone had identified him as a Christian because his behavior was so good. So I'm really kind of obsessed with people's behavior, most notably my own right now. But a thing cropped up in my feed that was from a while ago that I hadn't listened to originally, and it really struck me. So there was a speaker presenting at an event on a very important topic, especially for activists, one that is rarely covered. And as the speaker was covering this, she was getting really fired up and passionate, as many people in our community do in the holistic health movement, in the anti-jab movement, whatever you want to call it. All of us who live green and crunchy, we get really fired up about health and medications and things like that. So she was talking about this topic, and in the course of this topic, she got so fired up that she said a completely unjustified, horrible thing. And then I watched the whole video to the end because she had other good things to say. And I felt very conflicted because what she was talking about was really important, but what she had said was so incredibly horrible, and I wasn't even sure I heard it right. I had to go back and listen to it again. And then at the other end, there were some other clues that she may not be all she's kind of struck up to be. But I sat down, and I guess I'm kind of a real people person. One of my spiritual gifts is mercy. So I tend to make excuses for people. But I'm always trying to look at the core human behavior and why people who are otherwise really good intention, doing things beyond the fact that, man is evil and a sinner, but like, what is their motivation behind why they're doing a thing that is ugly or untowed? And when I looked at her, I realized that what got in her way was her passion. She was so passionate about this topic that when she was talking about one of the victims of this topic, she kind of stab someone in the back. Hi, China. Thank you so much. It's so sweet of you. Whoops. Hold on a second. Hi, I'm sorry about that. I had a pop-up come up that most annoying time for a sales pitch pop-up ever. Hi, Kate. How are you? So anyway, this person got so fired up that she insulted someone who is a defenseless victim, right? And it really bothered me because I thought, like, how do we do that? How do we manage when we have these topics that we really believe in our core are life and death, when we really, really feel like people are really being harmed and action needs to be taken right away? How do we manage that without getting our mouths into trouble? Because, that's the problem with humans. Most of the time, most of our bad behavior comes from our mouth. I mean, like, people do terrible things, people rob and murder and stuff like that. But for regular everyday people, most of our most harmful sins come from something we said that we can never take back. And I think when you're a very passionate person, you say things a lot. Now, I've been a writer all my life. I started out writing poetry, some good, some bad, and all of it passion-based, lots of it unhappy. I've written a few fictional pieces, outlines and manuscripts and things, nothing published. But I focus a lot on, deep gut passion and how people feel about passion. I'm a very passionate person. I have a very passionate daughter. And people whose emotions run hot and cold, we're a different breed than other people. We tend to get in trouble with our mouths a lot. And so when I was, watching this video, it really struck me because I felt like she really hurt the cause. She really hurt her information. It gave me I had never heard of the person before. It gave me a really bad opinion of her. And, it was, I didn't like it. And she suffered some serious consequences for it. And my opinion is she hurt our community by doing that. Now the question for today then is, how do you temper your passion, especially if you think it's going to save lives when you change the world like you want to, that it's really going to save lives, especially lives of innocent people. And how do you temper that passion with actually moving forward in your purpose? Hi Denise, how you doing? So I kind of came up with 3 quick ideas, and that could help a lot of us not get into so much trouble when we are so passionate. And so the first one is think before you speak. Now, it's not just think before you speak, it's think before you present, right? Sit down and write out what you're going to be talking about and really focus and calm yourself as you're going through your presentation, that you are talking and saying the right things. Really take the split second to think before you talk, even if you start getting to work up. You start getting worked up, that's when you got to do tip number 2. Be calm. So even before you go out and present, now whether it's just a Facebook Live or whether you are speaking or whether you are firing up on a debate on Facebook, take some time to calm yourself down first, like meditation, essential oils. I try to pray before I do things, so that, pray to God to, say the right thing and be inspired and really help people with my words. So as a Christian, you are not supposed to say anything that is going to tear people down. So I have to be extremely careful when I'm passionate about something. And I really have been working a lot lately on shutting my mouth up on Facebook if I can't say it calmly, or rewriting. I've actually tasked myself, because I am a writer, I've tasked myself with, okay, before I hit post on this, let me rewrite it in a way that is Christian, and let me rewrite it in a way that Jesus would say it. So, as a follower of Jesus, Jesus was firm. He wasn't wishy-washy, but he was kind and polite. He did know when to call out people. He called one of his top men Satan at one point, but he was very gracious to the man who betrayed him too. So we kind of have to balance, how do we be gracious to our enemies, and only call out people that we know well and respect well, or call out leadership in an appropriate manner, without resorting to screaming and saying horrible things that are going to hurt the people that we are trying to protect. So I think that's before you're going to present or write or comment. Get yourself in a calm frame of mood. Do whatever it takes. Like I said, for me, it's prayer and essential oils. I got a blend from Dr. Z, Get Her Done blend going on today because I was a little busy this morning. So think before you speak, right? So if you're going to present, write down your points and think, and make sure you know what I find is helpful too is, before I present on Facebook, I usually am presenting in the shower. Run through the things that you're going to say, the stories that you're going to reach back and share. I think it's a good idea to have that, especially if you're presenting live. Take a few minutes and sit down and run through little stories and comments that you can insert in there, so that you don't make the mistake of getting crazy, fired up, and saying something that's going to cost you in the long run. China says, I so needed your tidbits, especially this week. Well, thank you, China. That makes me feel really good. I'm so glad that this is helpful for you. Okay, and so the third thing It's going to sound easy, but let me get into depth about it. I wanted to say avoid narcissism, because this person ended the presentation with such a narcissistic video that I was like, bleh. But I know that she didn't think it was narcissistic, and I think a lot of people who are not, she doesn't necessarily have to be a narcissist. So sometimes you come off, you're passionate about something, and so you're going to put yourself out there, and you're going to come off as, instead of coming off as, we can do this, which that's what you want to motivate people, right? You've got your cause. You want to tell people together, we can do this. We can solve this problem. But there's a fine line between saying, look, I did it. I know you can do it too. Join me, because you are just as powerful as I am. There's no difference between us. And kind of going, I'm kind of like really self-important, so it was easy for me to do. It's going to take some work for you. Like, it comes off like that. It's like I could do it because I'm so super and I'm so powerful, but like I never want to come off like that. And so like I share about my fitness a lot. I'm going to try not to brag. I got my reward shirt yesterday, so I was proud to wear it today. But I want to show people that 2 years ago, I never thought my body would be in this shape. I never thought I could run like I run. I did 50 chin-ups today. And almost broke my arms off when I got to 47. I didn't do them in a row. I did 10 at a time. But I never thought I would be able to do that. I never thought I would be able to run around the gym. I think I ran around the gym like 26 times today. I never thought I could. That's like almost half a mile, a quarter mile. It's more than a quarter mile. I never thought I could do that. And I want to tell other women who are my age, who have challenging children, that you can do it. Like, you can do it. Because, you know why? Because I did it, and I'm no different than you. I'm no better than you. I did it because I don't even know why I did it. Lots of reasons. But, and when I put out these goals, I'm always worried, does it come off like a humble brag? Like, I don't want it to be a humble brag. Hi, Jennifer, how are you? I want it to come off like I did it so you can. And it took me a long time too. It didn't happen overnight. I've been going to the gym for 19 months now, and I still struggle with a lot running, and I still struggle with chin-ups. So, I'm not perfect at it, but I think when you are presenting to people and you are trying to change the world, you need to let them know that I can do it, you can do it. I'm no better than you. So when you come off prideful and a little over the top, a little narcissistic, that is actually not a good thing. You cross that line between confidence and look at me, pride, right? So those are the three things to remember, that when you are talking about something that you're really passionate about, especially if it's a cause that's going to save lives, in your opinion, think before you speak. Be calm before you present or respond or dip your toe into an argument, and avoid being overly narcissistic, show-offy, prideful. Now, one thing that I wanted to say, though, was the horrible thing that I spoke about at the beginning of this discussion, where this woman said this horrible thing. Her speech also was peppered with profanity, and I am in no way judging her. I am a Christian, and there is like 27 scriptures about how you should not be profane, and I am profane, and you should not take the Lord's name in vain. And how many times have I got to say myself from J word? Thanks, China. So it's really hard for me. I mean, I'm a New York City girl, and I had lots of guy friends in high school and college, and so, my husband uses profanity a lot, so it's hard for me to pull that one in. So I'm not judging other people who struggle with profanity. The struggle is real, and we live in a day and age when everybody says, profanity is a good thing, it's cool, we should use it in business. No, we shouldn't. It's bad. It's a bad habit. And I think that you know, as I was listening to the presentation, she was just dropping F-bombs everywhere. I thought, you know, that's part of the problem. And then she said this thing, and it just kind of, it was a horrible thing to say, but it flowed with her anger and her rage that she was dumping. She was like spewing all this volatile negative stuff. And so I just wanted to share a scripture, because in the Bible it does say, and this is Jesus talking, by the way, Matthew 15:18 says, "But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person." So when you have someone you like, and you like them, and you like what they stand for, and this garbage comes out of their mouth, you have to stop and pull back and go, what's really in their heart? Because bitterness is a big problem, and you don't really want to totally associate with people who are bitter. I know people who are really amazingly great at causes, but they have so much bitterness in them that I can't really be around them for too much. I think, and that bitterness, you know, believe it or not, that's hurting them. That's unforgiveness in their heart. That's rage and anger. Those are the things that are going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you physically. First of all, they're going to cause disease and illness and stress. They're going to cause heart disease. They're going to affect your mental health. They're going to radiate. People are not going to want to be around you, or they're only going to want to be around you to use you because you're powerful in your community, right? It's going to radiate down to your children, and they're going to spew it. So what's coming out of your mouth is in your heart. And you know what? That's a conviction for me, because like I said, I struggle with profanity, and whenever I drop an F-bomb, you know, unless I've literally smashed my toes apart and broke my toe, which I did a couple of years ago, boy, you could hear me 3 towns over, because the door was open when it happened, the front door, and I just started screaming. And, you know, I think, okay, the reason you're cursing at that is because you're in so much pain. But other than that, when a thing comes out of your mouth, I have to sit down and say, why is that word there? Like, why can't I get past that word? Why can't I say something more appropriate? Right? And we all go, oh, I can't control cursing. But yeah, we can, because I used to curse in high school, and then I would go home to my mother, and none of that language would come out of my mouth. And then I would go to Catholic school, and none of that language would come out of my mouth. It only came out at certain times. So you can control what comes out of your mouth, but a bigger issue is what's in your heart. And I think when you see this explosive rage and profanity, and then you hear a comment, a lot of people go, oh my gosh, what did she say? And it's like, you could see the clues of, you know, something was going wrong there, right? I'm not going to make a Game of Thrones reference. I almost made a Game of Thrones reference. Great show, terrible ending. But I won't do that. So you can see those things coming out. So I think we all need to really sit back and think about, how are we going to be most effective? We're going to be most effective. You're going to attract more flies with honey. The Bible also talks about let your words be salt. Let your words be salt and light, right? So salt flavors things. You want to interest people, and you want to get people fascinated and excited about the thing that you're passionate about. And you want to give them a light, right? So in my community, there's a lot of really depressing things happening right now. But whenever I give up hope, I see a lot of people give up hope. As a believer in God, I have to pull myself back from giving up hope and saying, you know, these things are in God's hands, and He's bigger than any really bad law that could ever be passed. So I think you need to talk about the things that you're passionate about in a hopeful, helpful way, and not just throw in the towel, and not be angry. Don't be narcissistic. Be honest and true. Talk about difficult things. Be honest about it, but again, be salt, be light. Give people hope. Hook them, make them interested in why these issues are important. And don't engage with the negativity and the people who are cursing, and don't follow those thought leaders that are spewing horrible things out of their mouth. I don't think it's cool. I try to follow and listen to people who have really positive things to say, or humorous things to say, or interesting things to say, without a lot of the garbage, particularly the profanity. Just don't like it. I don't think belongs in business, and it's not for me. So that's it for me today. So I hope that really helps somebody out there. China, I hope that helped you. So I just, before I sign off, I want to say that today is Memorial Day. My husband and I, we work at a vet-owned franchise called Soldier Fit. He's the owner of the company, is a vet, and they close afternoon. They close for the whole weekend, so that we can remember that this weekend is really not about hot dogs and barbecues and starting up the fireworks and going to the Iron Pigs game or your local ball game. This weekend is really about remembering all the people who sacrificed their lives for our freedoms. And to this day, there's still lots of people. Just heard that somebody just died recently. They were talking about on the news this morning. So let's just take some time to pray for the families who have lost someone. Pray for all those people and remember them. And if you have someone that died in the service, God bless you. And I hope that this weekend is easy on you, and that you will just remember them in your heart. I don't personally know anyone like that. I have like the most non-military family in the world. Like, there's no one in the military in my family except my dad, who served in 1942. And that was the draft. So I really, honestly, I just think people like that people who serve are completely amazing. How they just leave their families to protect our country. And many of them give up their lives when they don't expect it. So just remember them this weekend. And that's it for me. So I hope you have a great Memorial weekend. I hope it's a start to a beautiful and amazing summer for you. And share with me what's your passion. What are you passionate about? And how are you going to share with other people your passion without being harmful? I would love to hear it. I would love to. If you've got a Facebook Live going, go ahead, share it. I'll visit. I have nothing to do this weekend. Seriously. Nothing to do but go to Dick's and spend some money on a gift card. I think I have date night at some point too. Okay, so you have a wonderful weekend, and remember to embrace the imperfect within you, but always try to make it a little better, okay? Have a good weekend, and I will see you next Friday right here on Facebook Live. I'm Gina Badality from Embracing Imperfect, and have a great day. Bye!